Hello, dear students. So, in the last video of History Chapter number 1, we studied how French Revolution started. It was 1789 when French Revolution took the spark, and there were many measures and practices which were introduced in this revolution, whether it would be La Patrie, La Citoyenne, new hinds were there, a state journal were elected, and they were renamed as the National Assembly. New French flag of tricolor, that's red, white, and blue, was introduced. Uniform laws were there for the citizens, duties, dues were abolished, and French was declared as the official common language of the nation, which was spoken in the Paris. From there, French Revolution started moving towards the entire Europe, in which Jacobin clubs played a very important role. Clubs were the political clubs, and they were very much influential, as you know, like in spreading the French Revolution to other parts of the Europe. They were mainly consisting of students and the members of educated middle classes. As we discussed in the previous videos, that the French Revolution, since it started from France, and from there, here you can see the countries, where it mainly had the influence, to Holland, then to Belgium, to Switzerland also, and to most of the parts of Italy. Okay. But here the question is that did the France got the complete freedom and democracy after the removal of monarchy, or what were the major reforms which were introduced by the Napoleon in France? With a wide swath of territory that came under his control, Napoleon, we can see as the main leader of um, taking the French Revolution and getting the France free from the monarchy. Uh, after the freedom from the monarchy, uh, Napoleon took control over the France, and even though, like he slowly, after introducing the certain reforms, he started destroying the democracy. So we can actually say that one monarch was removed, and another form of monarchy, which was led by the Napoleon, came into the picture. He introduced many administrative fields. He had incorporated revolutionary principles in order to make the whole system rational, efficient. He actually introduced the reforms in 1804. We call them as the Civil Code. It's also known as the Napoleonic Code. These were welcomed by all the French people, and they were appreciated by other parts of the Europe also. People wanted to have the same kind of reforms in their regions. What were those? What were the major features of the Civil Code or the Napoleonic Code of 1804? This is a very important question, and it is, like mostly asked in the boards. So the first was all privileges which were based on the birth. They were taken away from the people. Equality before the law was established, and the right to property was secured. That means people do have the right on their own property. This code was exported to the regions under the French control. In Dutch Republic, Switzerland, Italy, Germany, Napoleon simplified the administrative divisions and abolished the feudal system, freed the peasants from the serfdom and manorial dues. It means the feudal system which was going on was abolished under the civil code. Okay, the feudals were removed and the land was handed over directly to the peasants now. They were free from the serfdom. They were not liable to pay any kind of serfs, any kind of duties, any kind of fees to the feudals. Feudal system is a kind of land distribution in which the peasants lie in the lowest bed of the pyramid. Okay, so here this is this is a major feature which was liked by the peasants and the farmers, and that's how the support came up for Napoleon. Even in the towns also, the guild restrictions were removed. When we talk about the guild restrictions, a guild stands for a medieval association of the craftsmen or the merchants, often having the considerable power. So, in the towns, since the guild restrictions were removed, it benefited the traders. Along with this, transportation, communication system was also improved. Peasants, artisans, workers, businessmen, they enjoyed this new found freedom, which was not existing at the time of monarch. Particularly the businessmen and the small scale producers of goods. They were enjoying the uniform laws which were introduced and the standardization, uniformity in the weights and the measures. A common national currency would facilitate the movement. It was introduced and it also helped in the exchange of goods as well as the capital from one region to another region of France. But here the question is that what the people of areas, you know, to whom Napoleon helped to get the freedom, were they really happy with this? That means once Napoleon helped them in getting the freedom from their monarchy, right, in which we know Jacobean clubs helped them a lot. But after Napoleon established its administration, okay, and started taking those regions as it's their own territory, were the people happy there? In France, as discussed, Napoleon was appreciated, his reforms, his practices, and the measures were all welcomed. But what about other areas, to which Napoleon helped in getting the freedom? There was mixed feelings among the local populations. Initially, at many places like Holland, Switzerland, in many cities like Brussels, Mainz, which is in Germany, Milan, Italy, Warsaw, that was in Poland, French armies were welcomed as the harbingers of liberty, as the symbols of freedom. But that initial enthusiasm, that initial courage, it turned into hostility very soon when people of all these countries started realizing that the new administration system arrangements which were brought by the Napoleon, they were not going in hand to hand, they were not in association, and they were not in companion with the political freedom. Reason why? Because since Napoleon now had to manage a large area of Europe, and for the administration, he increased taxes, encouraged censorship. There was no transparency in the administrative rules, and people were less aware about it. There was forced conscription into the French armies. People were forced to join the French armies because, as there was an expansion of area, so more army was required to take care of the administration, to take care of the defense and all things. Many forced decisions were imposed. Here, we have used the word forced decisions were imposed. That all seem to outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. So all those administrative changes, they brought